Welcome back to the Switch Sports Golf Challenge Series. We're on day 7 of trying to make 10 eagles through the standard 18 holes of Nintendo Switch Sports Golf. It's proven to be a real challenge. It took 21 days to get to 9, and then we got to 9 again just a couple days later, but while we were going for 10. So I've gotten 9 twice. We just haven't gotten 10. 10 feels like a rare feat. Obviously people have gotten to 10 before. In some of the world record games. And this is also in local play mode, so because I'm dealing with the same pins, if I play well on holes 3 through 18, it's a bit easier than in competitive mode, but it's still pretty difficult to get to 10 eagles, so it would feel like a real accomplishment if I were to get there. Let's club up, I think. Do we want to club up, or do I want to leave that as is? I'll leave it as is. I like using the 9-iron here, so I'm going to use a 9-iron. Hit it about full, maybe slightly less than full because we are hitting downhill, but that feels like the proper shot to give this one a chance. It should kick right. The wind's going to push it a little left, so hopefully my adjustment's pretty good for that. We'll give this one a shot.
Nice shot.
Ooh, I feel like I left that one a little short. We'll have to see. That's actually, yeah, it's going to be short. Not the best adjustment anyway. It would have been a little too far to the left, but a near miss. I mean, a foot and a half. With one of the more moderately difficult pins and some moderately difficult wind. Not a bad spot there, just not the best conditions to try to make the eagle on hole 1. We'll move on to hole 2, see if we can have any sort of better luck with pins and winds there before we start seeing some more straightforward ones. And we're going to see a nice pin, but some difficult winds. So what do we have to do here? I feel like that's an over-adjustment where I initially wanted to go to. So let's try hitting this one to about there. Does that feel right? I don't know. That feels like an under-adjustment. So let's try somewhere in between, maybe right about there. We'll club up to the spoon and make sure we roll it down there. Let's try that out. About that much power. See if we can get lucky and get this one to fall. Now, hopefully that's not too much power. I kind of hit it a little further than maybe I needed to. Oh, that's just not going to take the proper kick. And we'll miss it a little on the left side. So tougher winds there on one of the more accessible pins when you see some lighter winds. We just miss it. No eagles through 2. Not off to a good pace for 10 eagles. However, there's plenty of game left. We have 16 holes left to play. We'll see if we can pick up some nice conditions on hole 3, which is typically one of the more doable eagles in this entire game, especially on the front 9. And we're going to see 0 wind. So this is our second 0 wind hole. We see no wind, maximum wind, no wind. So a curious start to the winds here. It's kind of like you're rolling dice on the first couple of holes. You have a 1 in 6 chance of seeing any wind, 0, 2, 4, 6, 9, 11. And we just see 0, 11, 0. Okay. Let's just hit this one to the spots where we know we need to. Ooh, I lose a pixel of power there. I don't think that'll hurt, though. I don't think that's going to really make too much of a difference. It'll take a nice second bounce and roll into that bunker, which is totally fine. And we'll have a pretty favorable 25-yard chip. It's a good distance to try to make this chip from with no wind. We'll just aim this out to the left, hit it a little less than pin high, or a little less than 2 dots of power. So pin high power here. We'll give this one a run. That feels like a pretty good shot. It should bounce and roll back, and we'll get it to fall. So a nice eagle, our first one on the 3rd hole, and we'll see if we can keep that rolling, see if we can pick up another couple on the front before we get to the back that is typically more eagleable. It's going to be a stretch to get to the 4 or 5 eagles that I really want on the front 9 in order to try to make 10 happen. But you got to play the conditions. We saw a tougher pin on hole 1, some tough conditions on hole 2. But we got one on 3, and that's really what we need. Okay. Let's aim this one to about there. That feels about right. We'll hit it with about that much power. And hopefully, that's good for power. We can maybe try to steal a hole in 1 here. Okay, that feels pretty good. That's going to land a little too far, I think. Unless it really zips back, it's just not going to. So just a little bit too much power on that one. That one's tough to judge sometimes in terms of how much power you need. And it just lands a couple feet too far. and doesn't get that chance to catch the proper slope and roll back. So a near miss. I mean, the ball didn't end up near the hole, but the miss wasn't too bad. It's really just where that first bounce lands. So we'll have one eagle through 4. We'll move on to hole 5 and see if we can get some nice conditions on these par 5s to try to pick up some eagles. And we're going to see no wind for the 3rd time. Now, no wind on hole 5 is definitely an opportunity. We'll just have to hit this one left of that tree. Now, in competitive mode, you can go right of that tree with no wind because the tees are a bit further back. But I have to go left in this one-player mode because we cut it closer with the rough. It's just a much more risky shot. You have to put it real close to the tree to put it in the fairway. So the left side of that tree works better in this one-player mode. We can still just send it down to that bottom part of the fairway, though. This should be a pretty straightforward chip that moves just a little bit to the right. We'll have 40 yards to go. Can we zoom in really close? No, we can't, so that's a little unfortunate. So I can't get that super precise zoom in on the green grid because we are 40 yards out. If we were 39, I think you could actually zoom in and get that like closer look at it. But we have to have, that's like my maximum zoom right there. It's nothing compared to like the zoomed out one. So let's see, we'll have to use the 7-iron. Hit it pin high. Yeah, the 5-iron's too much. So take the 7-iron. Hit it to pin high, see if we can get this one to roll up and fall. Okay, that's the shot I wanted. Is that going to move right? No, it won't. I feel like several times I've ended up with no wind. Now, the first shot matters in terms of how far away you actually end up. You're hitting 2 shots, and kind of the angles of how far left the first shot is and how far right the second shot is create some difference in distances. But I feel like I end up in a spot where sometimes that rolls perfectly straight and sometimes it rolls to the right, and it's kind of hard to predict exactly which one you're going to get. So let's... What to do about this hole? I think I want to go for that tree strat.
Nice shot.
I lose a pixel of power again, so... Not going to make a difference here, but hopefully that doesn't continue. There are some holes where that matters. So we'll just be in the rough. We'll have a chance to roll it down there with the spoon. Now this is not an easy shot by any means. It's not a shot that I'm expecting to make. But let's see, we're 179 yards away. I think about that much power should be good. We just have to aim this out to the left a decent amount. Try to get it to roll down there and get a lucky one. That's going to be too far to the right, I think. Yeah. So it's going to roll out. Ooh, I guess it slows down quite a bit in that fairway. We'll have a real side hill putt here because that is a mound. If that ends up too far to the right, it just gets pushed more and more and more to the right. So we'll have a scary little side hiller here for our birdie. We'll see if we can sink it, though. Probably hit it about 1 dot of power up that little hill. Let it trickle back down. That feels pretty good. And we'll get it to sink. So not an easy birdie putt by any means, but we'll get it to fall. And we'll move on to hole 7 with 1 eagle on the scorecard. We need 9 more. Are we going to see some proper conditions to get one on 7? Okay, not too bad. This is a little more doable. We actually saw this, I think, exact condition. Maybe yesterday? Was this yesterday's condition? So we'll just hit that one out there. That should... end up, if it ends up in the rough, that's actually totally fine, because I'm hitting this less than 3 dots of power anyway. So we're going to club up to the spoon, for sure. We're going to hit the spoon with enough power to land this on the green. So maybe about to there. Feels pretty good. And I want this to just kick a little bit right. We don't want to land this in the rough, because it doesn't make it all the way up to the hole, because you lose a lot of speed if you land it in the rough. So I want to land this on the green and just get a lucky little 2-bouncer. That's the goal. We'll see if we can pull it off. Okay, I think that's the shot. Is that going to make it all the way there? Oh, it's going to hit the fringe, which does not allow it to kick right at all. When it hits the fringe, it bounces straight. And it bounces very far. If that was another foot further, it would have hit the green, where it starts to kick to the right. Just a near miss. a little bit better than yesterday in terms of, you know, plan. The execution was about the same in terms of where I ended up because I hit the fringe, but man, oh man, if that was just a foot further, I thought that might have had a decent chance. All right, not the easiest eagle there. Not too bad about missing that one. We'll move on to hole 8, where we'll see just tough crosswind. What to do about this one? Definitely the 3-iron. Definitely the aggressive backspin play. Is that going to work? We'll have to find out. Let's aim it to about there and see if we can just get a lucky one to fall. Perhaps one of these times I'll come into this one knowing how to use the spoon, which is probably the better play there. Yeah, I'm just going to end up off the back of the green. Barely on the back of the green, actually, not off the back of the green. This is not going to be an easy putt. We'll see if we can sink another side hiller. But just not the best conditions in this round so far. Actually, I can't really say that. We've had 3 0-wind holes, but a couple of these ones towards the end here, not the greatest. We'll sink the putt, though, so we're 9 under through 8. That's a pretty good score in terms of, you know, general play. We'll see if we'll have some nice conditions to pick one up on 9. I feel like we haven't seen them very frequently, and here we do. Okay. This is now an opportunity on hole 9. Let's hit this one out there with the proper aim, a nice full shot, just in the alley between the rough and where the trunk of that tree is. We'll put it safely by there, and it should glide down pretty nicely. We're going to have a nice shot to get there in 2. Wow, that really kept going. We have 269 yards to go. Do we use the 3-iron here? I don't like this wind with the 3-iron, actually. I'm going to use the spoon. Definitely hit it pretty lightly. We're going to aim this significantly out to the left. Hit it lightly, maybe about there on the power meter. Actually, maybe a little bit more. Maybe about there on the power meter. We'll let it roll up there.
Nice shot.
Okay, hopefully that takes a nice big landing. Oh, is that going to hit the rough first? It will, and that'll take a lot of speed off of it. It barely clips the rough. If that hit the fairway, that could have really bounced up there nicely, but it's just short. We've seen that a couple times today. It's just off of where I need it to be, but we now have an eagle putt. I really can't be mad about anything other than the opportunity at an eagle. We have an opportunity here. We can sink this one, pick up the eagle, and that would feel really good. Let's hit this one with enough power to get it there. Probably about there. See if it can make it up. Oh, and it just misses on the left side. That was a difficult one. I had to hit that really hard. It was a double breaker. Oh man, but that just does not feel good to see that one miss. We'll have to tap in the birdie. So no eagle on a tougher hole 9. I mean, I gave it a good chance. It was just a tiny bit short of the proper landing spot because it's so easy to put that one like over the back of the green, and I was so close to getting it right. It just doesn't fall though. Okay, we'll have a more doable hole 10 with a wind that's just purely tailwind. We'll hit this one up there, just aim it a little bit to the left because it kicks just slightly to the right. Now the wind effect of this hole may cause this to not move a ton to the right, so I'll just do a tiny bit of adjustment. Let's try that out. See if we can get it to fall. I think that's a pretty good shot. If that takes a little kick to the right and rolls out nicely, it will fall. Okay. So we have to make all eagles on the back 9 here in order to get to 10. So not going to be easy. We'll try to keep this thing rolling, though. See if we can pick one up on 11. At least keep this round alive a little bit longer. What kind of wind are we going to see? Looks like some very light winds, just kind of in the face. Not too bad. All right. Let's hit this one with about that much power. See if we can land it in the proper spot. Ooh, that feels like it's a little short, but we'll have to see. Is that going to be correct? It actually looks really good. Oh, it'll roll back down, and it'll fall. All right. The round is still alive. We've made it through 10 and 11. We'll see if we can pick one up on 12, a more straightforward one quite often on hole 12, and keep this thing going a little bit longer. Okay. Let's
Nice shot.
put that one to the middle of that fairway. Give it a chance at the albatross, but at the very least, we want to make sure we keep this one nice and safe. Just safely on the green. So I'm going to aim this out to the right just a bit. Probably to about there. That feels pretty good. Hit it with the proper power. Right about there. Give it a chance. Okay, that seems to be moving a little too far to the right. And it will. It'll take a nice big bounce and land softly. We'll be about 6 feet away.
Nice.
7 feet away, I should say. And we'll have a nice, easy eagle putt to keep this round alive. And I will sink it. All right. 3 eagles in a row. Much needed eagles. We'll see if we can keep this run going if we get some nice conditions on hole 13. If we were to push this to... Okay, we'll have to see what kind of winds we get. Are we going to get no wind? We're going to get no wind. Okay. So this is now a very, very doable shot. Can we get to 4 eagles in a row, like, during crunch time here? That would be pretty wild. Let's try it out.
Nice shot.
Okay, I think that's the proper shot. That should take a nice little landing next to the cup. Oh, is that too far? Oh, it's just too far. Oh, I blow the 0 wind hole. Just a tiny bit too much power on it. If that was a foot shorter, that would have been perfect. Now, as doable and as repeatable as that shot is, it's just not the easiest to do every single time. I think I've missed that one twice in a row now. We'll have to putt a birdie. Wow. I had exactly the opportunity I needed. We've now had 4 0 wind holes. Now, one of them was on hole 1 with a moderately difficult pin. The other one was on hole 5, which is not necessarily the easiest one. But man, oh man, this feels like a missed opportunity today. I missed one there on 13. That's very doable. I've made that one plenty of times. We'll have to move on to hole 14. We're going to have some tougher winds here. We can't go for the shortcut with 20 miles an hour. We have to send that one out to the left. But it's not too bad from here. We'll just have to hit this one about pin high. We can actually use the spoon, I think, and that should work pretty nicely. Just a full shot with the spoon. We'll send that one out to the left. It should move significantly to the right because it's such a long shot. And we'll see if that can roll up there nicely. Is that going to take a nice big first bounce? It kind of will. So it's not going to make it all the way to the pin, but it's going to be within 6 feet. So not a bad leave at all there for what was a more difficult hole 14 than we typically see, with almost maximum winds right in the face. We'll have to carefully hit this one up there for the eagle, but we'll get it to fall. And we have 5 eagles in this round so far. 4 of them in the last 5 holes. A missed opportunity, a real missed opportunity on hole 13 to pick up the hole in 1, and the round would still be alive at this point. We'll see if we can pick one up here on hole 15, though. Push that eagle number higher and higher.
Nice shot.
Ooh, I'm losing pixels on my drive today. I had this problem somewhat recently, and I thought I managed to fix it, but the missed pixels are back. I think I know what I need to do to fix them, though. Okay. Let's club up. Land this just a bit right or left of the pin. Left of the pin is the spot to be. We'll hit it with about pin high power. Try to get it to trickle back and fall. Let's try that out. Okay, I think that's a good shot. Ooh, is that going to move enough? No, it's not. So that's actually the exact shot that I wanted. I just misaimed that by, 1/2 square. It happens sometimes. And we'll have a tougher birdie putt because I played that one very aggressively. See if we can hit that one up there and get it to fall, though. We'll hit it right in the middle. So a nice birdie putt there from 20 feet or so. Not an eagle. We still have 5 eagles with 3 holes to play. We'll see if we can pick up number 5, maybe number 6. If we see no wind on 17, which is rare, maybe number 7. Not the easiest of wins here on hole 16, but this is a good chance to practice that pin that's a little tougher sometimes.
Nice shot.
There we go. That's a full drive once again. That should be safely between all those trees. When you see some moderate right to left winds, it's oftentimes more doable. And we'll have
Nice on.
a 50-foot putt. So that launches onto the green and leaves us with a more difficult putt to try to make this one. It's going to move a bit to the right at first, not a ton, and then it moves back to the left, maybe slightly at the end. So we have to try to think about how much this is going to move when I hit it super hard in the early going here. Try to have that be balanced out because it needs to be on the right edge of the hole by the time it makes it over there. I think this is pretty good. Let's try it out. Okay, that's too much power. Will it matter? It will. That long putt is so difficult to control the power on. It's just not steeply uphill enough where you can hit it super hard and it doesn't really matter. Just a tough break there. We'll have to tap in a birdie. We've had a lot of near misses today. Not many eagles. Actually, 5 eagles is a good amount of eagles for a round, but just a couple of opportunities that felt like they were missed. Okay, we see some tougher winds on hole 17 here. 26 miles an hour. Let's see if we can bounce this up there nicely. I'm just going to use the full driver. That is typically what's needed. Ooh, so it'll bounce to a stop, but it ends up almost all the way off the back of the green. So we have another chance at like a 50-footer here. This one's 47 or 41 feet, 41.7. So another long putt. This one's not for an eagle, though, but it would feel good to see this one fall. Keep this round with every hole under par. This is the most difficult birdie that we've seen today. We'll see if we can sink it, though. Just a little over 3 dots of power on this putt should be good to send it up there. That's exactly what I was hoping for, and it will lip out. So another tough putt that I just miss. Just a slight under adjustment there. I feel like I typically do that on hole 17. It doesn't look like the green's going to cause it to move all that much, but oftentimes it just does. So we'll have to tap in an unfortunate par. If this was the birdies challenge like we started with, I would feel pretty bad right now, making it all the way to 17 and being on the green and making the par. But fortunately, we can still move on to hole 18, see if we can pick up eagle number 6 for, I feel like that's probably the most common eagle number in this challenge series. Because these local pins are a bit more accessible and a bit more doable when you're seeing them every single day, you can push the eagle number a bit higher than in competitive play. Usually I probably average like the back 9 par 3s or par 5s, the 3 back 9 par 5s, and then maybe one other one. So 3 or 4 is typically my number in competitive play. But I feel like I can pick up a couple more in this local mode. So see if we can get to 6 here. Not the easiest hole 18 with this wind. We'll see if we can land that in a good spot. Try to roll it up there. See if we can leave here with our 6th eagle. I think that adjustment's good. Let's try it out. Right about to there. Feels pretty good. The wind's going to help that out. It should bounce nicely, make it up and over those mounds. Not the best of adjustment, but we're going to be pin high, so the power was perfect. And, you know, with this back pin, it's a little tougher to get to sometimes. It just feels good to be on the green with a makeable putt. So I'm getting better at this back pin, especially with the tailwind that oftentimes pushes you over the green. Try to tap this one in there. About a half dot of power should be pretty good to let that one trickle in. Ooh! And I leave it short. So that was not the easiest of putts. It's tough when it's right on the edge of this shelf to know exactly how much it's going to break, whether it's going to be an extreme break or not so much break, and I just kind of underpowered that one. Maybe that was the micro putt / glitch putt that I try to avoid so often, and I just don't do a good job of it there. But we'll only have 5 eagles today, 22 under par, 1 par on the scorecard, 5 eagles. Not my best round, a whole bunch of missed opportunities, but you know, we saw some tougher conditions on a bunch of the holes. 10 would have been a stretch today, even though we saw a bunch of 0 wind holes. We'll have to try again tomorrow. Thank you so much to everybody who's been watching this series. I'm hoping to get to 10 eagles soon. Hopefully we see a nice seed one of these coming days, and we take advantage of it and get to that 10. So we'll see you tomorrow on day 8, where I'm going to be trying this again.